Guys sitting there in suits, I'd see them fall for about the first couple of weeks, just about every time I went out the door.
And they're going to run him through this polygraph too?
Right.
Polygraph,
ESA, and progressive hypnosis, and they said possibly sodium pentothal.
Well, they're going to give him the works then, aren't they?
Yeah.
He was scheduled to take an examination with me at our office in Phoenix at the time, and he never showed up for it. But I think it's more Dwayne's influence rather than his that he didn't show up.
Why not the polygraph test? This has been a major criticism.
A lot of people have criticized it because they think polygraph is a lie detector, because it's called that, but it's not. And Travis was under that impression too. He was anxious to take the lie detector or polygraph test. I advised him not to, and several other people advised him not to, because what it actually measures is stress. And questions about stressful memories would bring stress reactions just as well as anything else.
They didn't even have the term post-traumatic stress disorder in those days, you know. In those days they called it shell-shocked, or there was other words for it related to wartime trauma.
One of the psychiatrists said it would have been a disaster for him to take it at the time. It would have created a lot of false impressions.
This led to a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of bad feeling that the sheriff couldn't understand the fragile condition I was in. To him, you know, my top priority should be, you know, get out there and take a lie detector test. I was it's a fragile condition that my brother made all these decisions. I didn't even talk to him or discuss these things with him, tell him what I wanted, whether I would do this interview or do that or anything. I was, you know, not in that kind of shape.
He had to process all of this. And that's the hard thing to do, because even though he was gone for 5 days, he only remembered about 2 hours worth of his time. And you'd have to ask yourself, well, why didn't he remember more?
After the event made publicity in Arizona, it turns out that there was a nationally known UFO organization in Tucson called the Aerial Phenomenon Research Organization, or APRO. They reached out to Travis and arranged for hypnosis to be done by Dr. James Harder.
And he was a skilled investigator with engineering background as well as with hypnotic techniques.
He did a regression on me in which I was able to recount the memories for the first time in their entirety without so much of the fear that was just keeping me from even speaking without breaking down.
I talked to Dr. James Harder not long after